Ladies and gentlemen, today you will learn to play the Scandinavian Defense opening. It's a sound chess opening for black that takes white out of their comfort zone. It basically challenges the white's position straight away. Fun fact, the Scandinavian is considered the oldest opening by black recorded in modern chess. Enough yapping and let's get started. The Scandinavian Defense starts after white plays pawn e4 and black responds with pawn d5, immediately challenging the pawn. There are a couple of moves that white could play from this position, so we will have a look at them individually. One of the key points here is this prevents white from playing its favorite openings such as Roy Lopez, Italian game, Scotch Gambit, etc. So let's say white takes the pawn. So in this position, our best move and the most common move is queen takes on d5. If white plays knight c3 directly attacking the queen, the main line here is to play queen a5. In this position, the white could play knight f3, d4, bishop c4, d3, but the most common move that you will see here is probably knight f3 or d4. So in our scenario, let's say they play a move like knight f3. So in this position, black could play knight f6, c6, g4 and c6. Knight f6 is a good developing move. It kind of prepares us to castle on the king side afterwards. Knight c6 is a move that is pretty common, or it's very important to understand as a Scandinavian player. It leaves a square for the queen to retreat if needed. So this is a move, and another move would be g4, that is pinning the queen. If we can get our bishop out, we can push this out, get our other bishop out, get this out and castle this side. So that being said, let's say we play a move like f6. White's most popular moves would be d4, bishop c4, d3 and bishop e2. Let's say they make a move like d4. In this position, we can pin the knight so that we can get our bishop out and push this pawn. Let's say we play that move. In this position, white might play bishop e2 or h3. If they play bishop e2, we can just develop with a move like knight c6, e6, c6 or something like that. But if they play the other move, that is h3, we could play bishop h5, that is just moving back and keeping the pin. If you move back and he continues to attack, which will weaken his king side, and I don't think it would be that common for most players to do, but if they do, you can just go back. And if they play a move like knight e5, you can just develop normally because this is protected either way. Moving back in this position, as I said, you can always go back. There's also the idea of queen h5. The idea is if he takes your bishop, you get to take his rook. So obviously the move they will play here is bishop e2, that is trying to open up space to castle. So in this position, there is not many threats going on either, so you can just make a developing move like c6. And white's best move here is to castle, as I said, so they will probably castle as well. So we can play somewhat an interesting move. The bishop takes on h3. The most common response here would be pawn takes on h3. We can just go ahead and take the pawn, and in this position we can push this pawn, get the bishop out. We can castle on either side. I think castling on the queen side is probably better because their king side is a bit weaker, meaning we can attack with the pawns and have a pretty good attack or attacking strategy. Now let's say in the opening they play a different move, that is a move like e5. So what do you do here? And in this position we can just go d4. They will probably respond with something like f3. We can play c6 or c5. I think I will go with c6. And basically we develop like normal. They will probably try to pin the knight, and we pin their knight, takes, we take back, and basically normal developing moves. This will probably take us to a somewhat an equal position. So what if after this position we decide to play knight f6? In this position they will probably play a move like knight c3 to protect the pawn. So here we have two attackers, so we can just comfortably take the pawn. So let's say we take the pawn, they take back, we take back with our queen. So yeah, when they play a move like this, we can just try to pin their knight to the queen. Let's play that move, and yeah, they will try to castle, and it's somewhat we will reach somewhat an equal position, I believe. So going back in this position, let's say white does not take, it does not push, but it plays knight f3. So this is not that common, but if they do play this, we can just take the pawn. Their best move would be to go there or there, and let's say if they go there, so we can play this move, we can probably play this. Most of them should be fine. So basically we develop naturally. Let's say we play a move like this, that's the most common move. If they play d3, we can just take the pawn. If they play a move like knight c3, we can play a move like this, that is protecting the pawn. The most common move for white here is to play queen e2. In this position we can just play a move like c6. Our position is slightly better, we have somewhat a little bit better of a development. We can kick out the bishop, maybe we can get the knight out this way or that way, and probably castle on the king side, and yeah, develop like that. So that has been a simple explanation of the Scandinavian opening. So that's it. This was my first video explaining an opening. I hope it was helpful. Let me know any thoughts in the comment section. Subscribe and have a wonderful rest of your day.